Hey guys, so we are back. I hope that you guys are feeling refreshed. Hopefully you had a little something to eat or drink in your break. We're now joined by Llyod Anarfi, who co-founded the film, television and video production company Foolish Professionals in 2017. He's also responsible for the YouTube entertainment show Beatty's TV and award-winning Rhea Ellen Rants. So I definitely love to hear more from you. And I do think we have got a bit of a show to show you guys later, but let me just hand over to you for a full intro.
Okay, cool. I find it hard to intro myself all the time when I talk about what I do, but I'll give it
Just
to
be a narcissist for a minute, yeah.
I hate doing that, but yeah. I'm Llyod Anarfi. Me and my friend Ednam Greaves, he's not here today, couldn't turn up. We started Foolish Professionals in 2017. It came out of like sad times, and we were both in certain places in life where he was like started uni. You know how university is, stressful and stuff. I just got sacked from my last workplace and I was going through in it. And at that time I was working on Backchat. I don't know if you guys saw Backchat. I was working on Backchat. And Backchat was a bit too much for me. Like the topics are a bit like wayward and stuff. Yeah, big up to them. They really done their thing and stuff. But I left them. Then all of a sudden I went to Amsterdam. When I was in Amsterdam, I found someone tweeted a website saying, wow, look, this is how Charles Gambino, the rapper. Yeah. This is how he found his name. Put your name in there and it gives you like a random name. So I put my name on it's like a website called the Wu-Tang name generator. And I put my name in there. And the name that I got was Foolish Professional.
Right.
I was like, oh, this is amazing. This is sick. I like this name. So I started to make like little fake pages and stuff from like websites and I called myself the Foolish Professionals. Whenever I played a game, I called myself the Foolish Professional. So like, took a break from, that was me taking a break from the whole film thing after my sacking and stuff. Then randomly, when I was in Amsterdam, I was following this guy. I've been following this guy for a very long time. So I've hit him up and I'm like, yo, I love your work. Can we meet up? So we met up, we clicked straight away. And after the next thing, we had a shoot like 2 days after, shooting a music video. And I just loved the chemistry we had on set. And we just smashed it. And I was like, bro, I think we can do some mad stuff with this, man. I think if we we're both from different walks of life. We're still in university. I can still teach you a few things. You could teach me a few things. You're sick at grading and cameras and stuff. So let's come together and make things happen. So we've done that, and that's how Foolish Professionals was born. We started off as a production company, but you know how business is. It's hard, man. Like okay, cool. There's making a business, but there's more to it, like the taxes and blah 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 and all that sort of stuff. And we just said, on it. Well, we're gonna become a duo, just go out there and just smash it. So with our run of the Foolish Professionals, whilst we were starting off, we thought we needed something to balance up our time. So it's not every day we're going to be doing shooting music videos. We need something just to take some steam off and just have fun in it. So that's how we created Beatty Squad.
Okay.
Beatty Squad was something that the majority of the guys in Beatty Squad I used to play with were guys I used to play football with back in the day, but I was the odd one out that didn't take the full, the full thing in it. But my other friends, they took it and they just went with it, and we kind of made magic on TV. We just went out there, done stuff with Sky, Adidas, Nike, you name it, all these big brands and stuff, and just took off. Same time as Beatty started, my missus wanted to start a YouTube channel again. She had a YouTube channel before, and she kind of took a long break. I've always told her, look, Rhea, people need to hear your voice. You are funny. And she started doing on Snapchat. A few of her colleagues are like, Rhea, you need to go on YouTube. On her first video, and just went sky, just went up. So I feel like the 2 points I had at the time just took off. And
organically,
it's not like a thing where I have to pay someone to say, yo, can you put my video on Just Bait or something like that. Just organic. And I feel like a lot of majority of the stuff we do is just organic and us just being ourselves and just putting ourselves out there. So. And at the same time, whilst I was doing this Foolish Professional stuff, and whilst I was doing the content creating Rhea Ellen and Beatty's, I was also doing the music videos and working for agencies, working at production houses and stuff, just to make money coming in.
Generate,
but just doing that really, and just building up connections with friends now, and just meeting new people and just making cool stuff like adverts, music videos. Sometimes I write. There's a spot there, right there. I used to come and sit there and write stuff. We got tomorrow, and I haven't written nothing in a while. I feel like the way life is right now, it's hard to like even just go on flipping Celtics, man. It's hard because like you got your mind elsewhere.
Yeah.
And obviously being a new father as well was kind of hard. Like it takes a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
Not to say I do much. Like Mrs. Corey going to get up to say no, you don't do nothing. I do stuff. Look, hear me out. I do stuff. I do things, but it's like when I'm doing something, for example, I'm editing the video. She could tell you I'm editing the video. My son wants to come and edit himself. So I'm like, okay, cool, sit down and edit. He edits for a bit and he slaps the computer. I'm like, get off. So it's just like all that sort of stuff in it that I have to deal with in that. But I'm enjoying, I'm embracing it, man. I'm just trying to adapt to any single thing that comes my way, really. I think is that enough?
That was great. That was great. I think we're going to see your showreel.
Oh, perfect.
We're going to see your showreel now. So yeah, we'll share the showreel with you guys and then we'll come back. Nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, nice.
Thank you very much.
Very nice work. I like those scenes of the little boy running.
Yeah, that was.
I like that type of stuff.
Thank you. That was a very experimental music video. Someone nearly got set on fire. But,
oh wow!
Yeah, it was nuts. It was a good day. It was a fun day. We spent the whole day in South London, Charlton, and the whole concept was basically we've got the musician's son acting as him and just going around doing rebellious stuff, as in like stealing from the shops, throwing like a carton at someone's car, egging someone's window, bullying little kids. Like then lastly trying to set the camera crew on fire.
Oh,
and it was just it was quite nuts. But it was fun to shoot.
Well, it sounds it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we'll hear a little bit more from you. But for those of you who've only just joined us for the panel part of today, we did have an amazing masterclass earlier with Ian Mann.
Yep, thank you. Amazing, that word again.
Back at it again with amazing. But just to give you a bit of insight, Ian has worked as a cinematographer with several big names such as Nike, BBC, FIFA, and the Premier League, just to name a few. And Ian's not going to like this, but we are going to show his amazing show one more time with the group.
Yeah, no, thank you.
So we'll share that again, and then we'll get into our discussion.
Thank you.
It's a buzzword at this point.
Actually amazing. I might have to put that on my handle.
Just hashtag amazing at the end. Okay, so we have, we've heard our intros, and I guess to both Lloyd and Ian. Well, no. Ian.
Oh, my intro.
Yeah,
oh, yeah,
you could expand
again,
because I only just name dropped every name drop.
Yeah, no. So I'm the cinematographer, working cinematographer now. I mainly work in sports, but worked in wildlife, and I was an engineer. Then I worked in wildlife. Then I worked in sports, and now I'm a DOP. I have like my own company and my own crew, and we make sports ads or sports content. So yeah, that's it. Kind of in a nutshell. I'll keep it brief because I've already said all that earlier. So yeah.
Yeah. There may be some people in here that weren't there for earlier, but we will hear more from Ian as we go through the questions. So cool. To kick things off, then the first sort of area that I want to start things off with is preparing for success, and how you both go about doing that.
Yeah, I'm happy to. Yeah, for me, I think basically I just plan things in the most professional way I can. So regardless of whether that's a personal project or a helping a friend, I bring the same level of expertise to every project. So if I'm preparing for success, I'll try and push the boundaries of what we're doing to something that would be seen as successful or professional.
Yeah.
So if you're in that example, I suppose, I'll read, if, for example, I'm doing a show about maybe boats or filming something about boats, I'll learn all I can about that boat. I'll read up on the boat. I'll try and work out the angles that might look good on the camera, what part of the boats are important, little things like that. So essentially, I mean, it's not just, for me, because I work in the camera department, it's not just knowing about the cameras and what turning up and then filming something.
Yeah.
You need to get there and you need to be like, right, what's the best looking angle on this boat? Look at other boat content and be like, how do they film it? How do professional boat films, how are they made? What are good angles? Things like that. So yeah, you kind of prepare for success is really all about research into how you're going to frame up the shots and making sure you've got a tight storyboard. And then on the day, you've already done half the hard work. So yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, pretty much same as Ian, really. One thing I would add on there as well is just like, bring in my own sort of thing into it, because a lot of time you hire DOPs or cinematographers and they're like yes men. You just say, oh, I want to shot like this, but they won't bring their own. Do you know what I mean? They won't bring their own sort of like creativity in it. It's just them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I feel like a lot of time when you hire out Foolish Professionals or you work with Foolish Professionals, we like to bring our own, pizzazz in it or whatever you want to call it. Another thing as well is just research and just learning stuff and just getting just perfecting the craft all the time and spending money.
Yeah.
There's no like you can't. There's like I hate saying this, but like without no money, there's no success. Like all this stuff costs a lot of money. Like
investment.
It's MacBook here, camera that's filming us, like the iPhone that's even like showing us here. Just all of it costs money. I'm sure you probably know that you got FS7 there. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a bit different on that. I think ideas make stuff.
I mean, as in, okay, cool. When I mean cost money, as in a sense that, like, in order for us to like do a project, if we want to do film, you need a camera, right? How are you gonna get the camera? Money, right? Or another thing as well, locations. You might have to get location like studio or something. And me saying this was all down to like saving and just having money management. You know what I mean? Because a lot of like filmmakers out there don't have that and just go like just spending whatever and just doing whatever just to spend. You know what I mean? So just about being smart, researching, because as well as me being a director or editor or whatever, I need to factor in having that money mindset as well. How much is it going to cost if they're going to hire me out for this day? How much is it going to cost if it's going to hire me for this day? You just need to have that producer hat on. I think everyone needs to have a producer hat on. Even if you, whatever sort of like, role you're doing in film, always have that producer hat on.
Logistics.
Logistics, yeah.
I think we spoke earlier, myself and Ian, about, well, it's something that I guess I often bang on about as well in the marketing world of things, because I come from a marketing background. But like relationship marketing and how you can obviously build relationships with people and maintain those relationships, and how that could obviously help you to source things or to create. And there is, because I guess money This is a good part of the discussion because it's key.
Yeah.
And young people and people starting out, that is like the biggest factor. Like the fact that they don't have finances, so it's like.
I don't think money should stifle creativity, though. I totally disagree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, like if you're waiting to buy a camera or you're waiting to buy a laptop, you might not make something. But actually, on an iPhone, you can draw a flick book. You can make a film and you can draw it and do a flick book. I mean, I've done animations like that myself. I mean, I think I do agree with you in the point that equipment does cost money, but on the flip side of that is the idea doesn't cost anything. And then actually, maybe if you don't have the equipment, you can still find somebody who does have the equipment if they have the like-minded creative values you have. Do you see what I mean?
So I was going to add on to that. So one thing I've kind of like experienced in my life was that when I didn't have any cameras or anything, like I just always used to have to wait for people. And I think I've got to that stage in life where I can't wait for anyone anymore. I have to go out and do it. If I've got like facilities or stuff to make it happen, I'll make it happen. But if I need to get something, I'm gonna have to work towards that. Do you get what I mean? So even if it's picking up stuff and doing stuff just to get that extra sort of like capital just to go get them. That's the point I'm talking about. That's just me, how I feel like I'm gonna get my own success.
Most definitely. It reminds me of brings me back to when I was trying to do one of my first events, and I didn't have any budget, but I had loads of big ideas that required budget, I guess. And then somebody said to me that to turn, basically, I'm not asking anybody for any favors. I should turn all favor into opportunity. And that changed everything for me, because moving forward, I've never asked anybody for any favor. I've just presented them with opportunities, and it's magical how just a flip of perspective, like, because then you change your whole language as to how you approach that person. It's no longer like, I'm really sorry, is it possible if I could just, it's like, hey.
What I will say though, the amount of people who've emailed me going, I've got a really great opportunity.
So that's the thing.
I think prime example of opportunity was this. So when we first started off ATs, it was like, me and Eddie were like, cool, these guys are my friends. They've already been at tournaments for Adidas, Nike, whatever. And we're literally just started off this new production company. Let's use this opportunity. Let's shoot these guys challenge videos, shoot these guys tutorials, whatever, and hopefully get into the building where Adidas or Nike was. And eventually we did. You know what I mean? So it's just, the opportunity thing does make sense, but take the opportunity if it makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, by all means, back off and say, guys, mentally and whatever, I'm not there. But if it does, then go ahead with it. You're gonna meet people like that. A lot of people like that have banging opportunities, but it's a gamble. I'm being real, it's a gamble. It can work, it can't work. You might not falling out. You might, whatever.
Well, the point that you made about like when you've sort of maybe borrowed things from people or asked for things from people and you've had to wait, I think that is definitely valid, because if there is that just sort of comes with like freebies, isn't it? It's like the minute that you've sort of accepted something for free, maybe the person isn't really as on it. Sorry, but I'm just getting PTSD because basically my nail tech recently contacted me and said that I could get a free nail session.
Yeah.
Thought that was really nice, really fantastic. But then her availability just seems to be non-existent. So it's like, so if I was paying now,
it would have been different.
Would you fit me in?
I kind of see that. I mean, it depends what you're doing, though. I suppose if you're doing like a bigger project, like obviously, if you're creating content, that's one thing because you're reliant on a scene or a person, and that content's created around them. But when you're talking about filmmaking, all films are made on favors. That's even in Hollywood. It's like a writer knows a mate. He's like, I wrote this thing. Have a read. Will you be in it? We haven't got much budget, and you're a big name. You're going to bring a bit of gravitas. So I don't think necessarily you want to it depends where you want to go with your successful career. If you want to be making films, then you need to be like asking for favors, and you need to be repurposing them as but you need to come correct as well. You need to be like full of energy, full of hype. You need to be your own hype person, and you need to be bringing that energy where those people don't feel they can let you down. Like the reason people let you down is because they're not on board. You haven't marketed yourself properly, and that's what I don't think is just clean cut as don't expect people to help you, because if you go to isolation, when you want to do the bigger projects, like the big idea, then people aren't there, and you need those people.
Yeah.
Like, I work in a team every day, so I understand like the team dynamic of a crew, and I couldn't do my job without those people. And like, they do stuff for me when they don't have to. Like, we work on big projects, we work for Nike, we all get paid, and sometimes we work for the bike mechanic around the corner who's just trying to sell bikes, and we make an ad for him because we're bought into what he's doing. And I think, you know, like, you can't, like, it's a creative medium. You've got, like, if you're in it for money, you're not going to do well. Like, I think some people are in it and they're just in it to make money, but in what I do it because I like taking pictures and I like filming stuff, and that's what comes first. We don't really talk about, like, we'll work on some paid projects, but we also work on loads of unpaid projects, like loads. So, you know, there's two sides to that coin.
Just have your base having the balance.
Definitely. And just the last thing that I will say on that before I move on to the next thing is, obviously, you saying that you get loads of emails of people saying, got this really great opportunity for you. That is very true. And I think when going back to the whole repurposing a favor or just sort of remodeling that into an opportunity, you obviously don't mention that this is an opportunity. It's like it's some sort of way of like you said, being confident in exactly what it is that you're selling, without saying to somebody, this is going to be a really great opportunity. It's literally just presenting them with that opportunity.
Well, the thing is, when you're trying to get something for like low to no budget, basically, essentially, like, I think you need to come just straight away. Like, that's got to be, you need to come out open. But if you're,
as in, like, no budget,
just straight away,
transparency.
Like, complete transparency, and then you need to be like banging production schedule. Bang, everything has to be like, wow, this shoot's better organized than if it was like a pro shoot. And then when you've got that as a backup, and then like, this is the edit schedule, we will have this finished here, this is like contingency if it's not done by then. Because essentially, for my crew personally, when we do something like that, everyone wants a finished article. They'll do it for low budget if they feel like at the end the concept's going to be good and they can see a timeline when it will be finished. And I think that's a good way to go about trying to, not favors is the wrong thing. Like, it would, even if you say someone, this is for no money or low to no budget, but you've got a really good plan, and at the end that person could be like, wow, that's going to be amazing. They've already seen that that's an opportunity because they can see your energy, and then like, you've made this film, a short film, whatever it is, and you can see that person's going to do the whole short film circuit. They're going to put the effort in, and then you'll, even just by being involved with that person, you're going to get something back. So
Nice. Okay. So I want to speak about challenges along the way. Obviously there's loads. From logistics and travel to equipment, life on the road, working with clients, establishing relationships and managing relationships. Any challenges?
I had loads. I mean, essentially, I was, in my field, I was like pretty much the only mixed race person cinematographer there was at the time. Like, so for me to get to even where I got to, where I am now, is a miracle, really. Like, in terms of there wasn't, you know, I'm older than, I'm quite old, I'm not going to go to my age, but when I started out, there literally wasn't black cameramen or mixed race cameramen. That just was not a thing. So by some fluke or luck, I managed to make a career out of it. And I think my biggest challenge has been navigating that, trying to work out like what I can say on a shoot, what I think's wrong. Like, you know, I've been on shoots for certain brands where I've been employed simply because of the colour of my skin, and they think that that's, for want of a better word, urban. Like, do you see what I mean? So do you see, that's been a big challenge, because obviously when you're dealing with these people, like, you don't want to, or clients, you don't want to shoot yourself in the foot. You don't want to walk off a job. I mean, but I've seen a big DOP walked off a job recently, the female DOP. She walked off a job because she is is she American? She's a Hindi.
I saw it on Instagram.
Yeah, she's an Indian DOP. She's quite big time. She worked with Maya a lot. And then they asked her to represent her, that she was doing like a behind the scenes kind of film in a video about her culture, but the people they got in weren't even the right Asians. And then the production company, like, don't worry, it doesn't matter. And she was like, it does matter. And she walked off the film.
Yeah.
And those were the kind of challenges I dealt with a lot as, you know, like,
imagine, yeah.
So I found that quite difficult. And especially being sort of, and there was no one else to like talk to. There wasn't anyone, like, there wasn't like another role model around me who I could be like, how do you deal with that? Like, how do you, you know, I mean, what do you do when it's a rap party and then the jokes turn a little bit where down the road you're not into? Like, do you step up and say something about that? Or do you just kind of fold into the background? So with hindsight, I think now there's much more dialogue for younger filmmakers, especially from sort of more, you know, diverse backgrounds, to actually be like, this is wrong. No, you can't do that. I don't want you to portray me like that. Whereas I don't feel I had that opportunity.
Pretty much.
Thank you for sharing.
Pretty much the same as him. Same as Ian. Sorry. When I finished university, I went straight into like a production house, and that was one of the hardest jobs ever. I remember breaking down to my missus crying, and I'm like, I can't do this no more. Like, I can't. Like, it's just too hard. Like, I walk into work every day with a fake smile, and after I sit on that computer screen and just like start to listen to like sad Michael Jackson songs. Like, it's sad. Like, I remember, I'll never forget when I was on the shoot, and at the time then I'm young. I don't know the ins and outs of this. I don't know the ins and outs of the film industry. I don't know what to say. I don't know when's the best time to speak. Basically, I didn't want to come across as that angry black kid, and they'll label me that straight away. So I remember there was a time I was on the shoot and was in like I think it was in Ireland. Was it Ireland or Scotland? Was in the RBS head office, like headquarters or something. And after the manager at the time, the MD at the time, always does this thing where he does interviews with his crew. So I was like, so one of the other guys on there, he got him to interview. So when he asked him a question, he goes, "Oh, how do you feel like Lloyd never had the same upbringing as you?" And he goes, "What do you mean?" As in like his mum couldn't afford certain things and your mum couldn't afford certain things. And after I was like, "Wait, what'd you say?" And at the time there, I couldn't, like, I had to hold my tongue because I was like, listen, I need this job, and I feel like with this job I can go to like the heights I want to get to and stuff. But like, I need to also be professional. Like, I want to say some stuff. Do you know what I mean? So luckily, like, good that the guy that was getting interviewed, he actually said something. He goes, "What do you mean by that? That's not fair. Like, how do you know Lloyd's mum wasn't a millionaire? Or Lloyd's mum hasn't got enough money? Or how do you know Lloyd's mum has got money?" Do you know what I mean? And after, like, I remember going back on the train. I remember going back because we went back that same day, and I remember going back and I was just miserable, man. I was like, listen, I can't do this stuff. And after, I remember, like 2 months later, I got sacked. I was like, maybe it's meant to be. Maybe I'm not meant to be here. Like, this place, I was gonna swear, this place is like, yeah, it's a hellhole, man. And I had to learn, and I feel like, as Ian said, now, if someone to do that now, they're going to become a trending topic. They're going to become like, it's going to be all like, yeah, like they're going to be spoken about for weeks on head, like. And I just wish that, because I remember the time when George Floyd died, everyone on Instagram was getting at these companies for showing fake love, and they showed fake love as well. They put a picture saying, yeah, Black Lives Matter too. And I'm like, did my life matter when I was there? Do you get what I mean? And it's like, yeah, it's tough, man. But I'm happy that there's change now. People can come out and be themselves. We don't have to, like, you know, speak in code anymore. Because we can go to like shoots and the whole team is black. We can go to shoots when like a majority of them, like, do you get what I mean? There's a mixture now. But before, back in the day, I used to go shoot and I was the only black guy there, and I'm there lifting up stuff. I'm not even getting the important jobs. I'm not even doing like the things that I've actually been hired to do. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Or getting edits that I want to do. But yeah, it's, you know, we're happy for, you know, the way things are now and people speaking up. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Thanks for sharing that, guys. When asking the question, I actually didn't. I don't know why. I didn't
think that would be the challenge.
No, yeah, I didn't.
Mental health is also another challenge as well. A lot of times myself is just, you know, I just kind of like come off everything and just have this thing to myself, like, am I really that good, or is this really for me? Or like, it's just a process in your heart, mate. If we talk about it, we're gonna be all day. Like, ever since this new lockdown, and because obviously I had imposter syndrome before, but I didn't know what it was until my friend, I spoke to my friend about it, and he said the same thing as well, because he's a musician. He goes, "I don't think I'm good enough, bro." I was like, "Bro, you are good enough. What are you talking about? You're one of the best rappers I know." Then after I said the same thing to him, I was like, "Bro, I don't think I'm good enough." And he goes, bro, do you know, bro, I just realized this because I used to speak to a therapist and he said that I had imposter syndrome. So you might have that too. So I went online, done my Googles, and yeah, I had it. And I was just like, even now, I feel like I'm still dealing with it now. Like, I put up stuff online and I'm like, fam, is this even good? Like, I want to delete this, man.
So how do you navigate your way?
So this is it. So what I've been doing is that when I feel like it's coming up, or when I feel like I'm going through it, I try to speak to someone. I ask for feedback. I ask for like, is this good, or what do you think? What can I change? What can I do better? Or just just watch it over and over again and just try and see just trying to understand myself as well, to understand the actual thing in it. So yeah, just watching over again and talking to people. Have you gone through any sort of mental issues?
Yeah, but not with work. I'm really I'm ridiculously confident in that. But basically, I kind of I don't really worry about what people. I don't think I could do my job if I worried about how people perceive my work afterwards. I know that sounds bad, but also simply because I work in a team and I lean on them quite heavily, and like we do all work together, and I get a lot of feedback through them all the time. So while we're working, when we're like doing a set, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, that looks cool," and the way I work with my team is very inclusive. So actually, it's never just me. It's kind of all of us, and they can pitch in ideas, but that's why I've been with them so long. So in a work kind of aspect, I don't get that. But then I have other things I worry about. Obviously, I came up with a certain group of cameramen when I was coming through, and some of them are very successful now. Like, I mean, I was successful, but in terms of seeing them do certain things, which are certain doors that aren't open to me. So a good friend of mine recently got nominated for an Emmy. And we started out together. We were both camera assistants together. So little things like that, I find very difficult in terms of I kind of think, why do I not get those jobs that he's getting? Why, like we've had the same training, we move in the same circles. So those sort of things do get to me. But I put that down to the fact that I know why that is, simply because those doors aren't open to me because I'm not moving in those circles, and there's certain reasons I'm not moving in those circles. So you kind of have to just make your own luck and be happy with what you are good at. If someone looking at my work and my portfolio be like, "Oh wow, you've done all this amazing stuff and you've had a really good time," and I think you're always going to be able to look at what someone else is doing and be like, why am I not getting those jobs? But then they're not getting the jobs you're getting, so it's kind of like you've got to be happy with what you got.
Like just use it as inspiration, like and what Ian said, like I've seen people that I've worked with and just getting signed by agencies and doing other stuff, and I'm like, yo, this is inspirational, man. We used to go dinner, we used to go lunch together, and you're doing big things, and it's like it's nice to see. But yeah, like you said, like there is sometimes I think to myself, wait, I'm not getting this, but I feel like obviously this is my motto: God's time is the best time. Like your time will come, and maybe it might not come the way theirs is, but it will come, something that's for you. You know what I mean? Your door will open and you'll enter it and it'll be locked. You know what I mean? You won't be able to turn back on yourself because you're on top. So.
Yeah. Timing is definitely key.
Important.
Running your own race, not looking at the others. It's easier said than done, isn't it?
They sound like Instagram slides. Yeah. Read a load of them before we start.
Yeah. Nothing as well, Instagram as well. Social media itself doesn't help, man. Like you've been going through tough times, like you got no milk in the fridge, you got no cornflakes in your thing, and you go on Instagram and see someone eating a big meal in it, and you're like, oh my gosh.
Listen,
you know what I mean?
So
trust me. You know what I mean? It's all Instagram has highlights in it, so people are just showing their best bits, but your best bits will come in it. So it's jokes.
I think the added pressure of social media doesn't really help with that. But it can work in both ways, as you both explained. Either you're going to get inspiration from it, and I think we'll just leave it as getting inspiration. Inspiration from it.
It's all going to be fine.
On the other part.
Persevere.
Okay, so I think that moves us nicely on to finding your voice. How would you both say that you sort of gone about finding your voice? Was that an easy thing? Is that a hard thing? Have you found your voice?
For me, that actually took a long time. Like, it's difficult for me because I spent so much time trying to fit in because of the job I was doing, and there wasn't any, as I said before, there wasn't really any of those people I could see around and be like, oh look, that guy's got an afro, or that guy, goes home and his mum's Nigerian, he makes him eat yam and clean his bedroom still, things like that. So like, I was sort of like, I'm trying to be this like these other guys. I'm basically essentially trying to be like a middle class white person trying to be a cinematographer. Essentially, that's what I was trying to do. So that's very difficult. So you're spending so much time working on that aspect of your character that your actual voice is like getting pushed back there, and then that's hard. So actually, for me, I think one day what happened. I think I kind of. I don't know. I just one day I met actually. I was been on my own for so long, and then I kind of got to a point where I was hiring people, and that's when it changed. Like I was suddenly I'd finally been allowed into the Guild of Cameramen and got my BSc, and I was like, hold on, I'm the real thing. Like, you know, I made it. Yeah, exactly. So then I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna hire some black people. And then like I got this job randomly. I got this job to do the sort of film for the Nigerian Olympic Committee for the Commonwealth Games. They were pitching and they make a film, and luckily I got asked to do the gig, so I got sort of flown back to Nigeria, and then I was there working, and I was like really inspired, and I got to pick my own crew, and I took like, not everyone was black, but I took a mixed crew. I had some like women in the crew, and we all had like lots of different, it was a tough shoot, no doubt, but like, you know, in terms of that was a real time for me when I suddenly was like, hold on, like these are my people. Like I can pick and choose who I work with, and I can also control what I do now. Like I don't have to pretend I'm someone else to get that job. So that was from that point on, I was kind of like, right, okay, you know, and now to be honest, I'm probably a bit too vocal on set with some of the things I say, but that was when I found my voice. So
Cool, thank you.
I feel like it's weird when I was working my first ever job when I got sacked that first time was when I was there. I remember one shoot, like we was like we had to get in a taxi. So I'm about to get in a taxi, and one of my old school friends, and like this guy, he's been in jail, like he's got bare tattoos on his face, tatted up. And before that, I used to speak to these guys like, "You alright, mate? What's going on, mate? You alright, mate? What's going on, mate?" Do you know what I mean? And after, like, as soon as I saw my mate, I was like, "Yo, what are you saying, bro? Long time." I remember my MD stopped looking at me like, "What?" I swear down, you know what I mean? And it's like a proper like, and I feel like ever since that day when I saw him, I just said, you know, I can be myself now. What am I doing, bro? Like even prior to that, like I was like, I remember I used to watch what these other DOPs and camera guys used to dress as, and I used to try and like, okay, North Face jacket, okay, Carhartt bottoms, okay, baggy jeans, and I used to try and like fit in because I felt like I wouldn't be accepted. Do you know what I mean? Be myself, and I did, and after a while I was like, what am I doing, bro? I'm wearing a pink hat. What am I doing? Like, do you know what I mean? And I just like kind of like just learn how to do like, you know, just be myself and stuff. And even I feel like the most important job for me that I had, and I was like, you know what? I can actually not say get away, but I can actually do this with me not putting on no mask and no like Jimmy, like no hat, no, do you know what I mean? And no Shoreditch hat and that. So I remember like I was working at Brave Bison. This is what I met tomorrow. And I remember we had like a little room. This room was cold, like freezing cold, and had all the camera equipment and stuff. And I used to just hire in like all my friends because they were sick at what they're doing. They're all black, right? So I remember like people come in there and be like, "Wait, what are you guys doing here?" I'm like, "Yo, I'm the guy that owns this place. I'm the guy that looks after this place," and just kind of like, you know, just be myself around that environment. And when I met Tamara, I remember like just being so happy to meet her because it's like there's another black crew that we can link up with and stuff. And back in the day when I used to just go to shoots and there was like one black person, I used to get so gassed. I'm like, yo, we're gonna chill, we're gonna eat croissants together, like, we're gonna have fun. You know what I mean? Like, I know exactly and you're like, yo, yeah, what you saying, bro? But then you turn around, you're like, you alright, mate? You know what I mean? It's like you're having to appeal, bro, and it's like it was hard at the time, and I used to hate it, man, and just. I remember getting on the train, even like just funny things like you get to work, like you listen to like Talking the Hardest Gigs, innit? Open the thing, you listen to flipping what do you call it, aberrant. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, stuff like that used to be annoying, but you know, I'm happy that we can be ourselves now. We can go out and do the thing, and yeah, just, you know, not to say like you know, pro-black is being bad, but if you're a black man, show that you're a black man, like represent yourself in that place, because you never know what that can do for yourself or do for people, innit?
For the others, yeah, and those that
even religion, whatever, that don't be afraid to like be yourself, because that's what sells you. Do you know what I mean? And if you come in there with someone else's mask or someone else's jacket or someone else's shoes, they're gonna look at me like, okay, you'll get sussed out one day.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to be yourself, innit? It's harder to be anyone else. Yeah. Okay, cool, nice. Thanks, guys. So I guess this next question, if I paint a bit of a picture, working in the creative industries, see, there's a lot of personalities that you come across, and big characters, big personalities, and obviously, you know, working as a team, there will just be certain challenges, I guess, that you would face with managing that team, and also just sort of getting along with people.
Yeah.
There could be clashes, strong opinions, and it is also a very opinionated sort of space because everybody's opinion matters and is valued. So how have you guys had any sort of experiences that come to mind straight away?
Yeah, I've got one straight away.
Well, let's hear it. Let's hear it.
I think here's the first time I've actually spoken to people off camera, but when I was working at BATs, and obviously I'm not there no more, there was a lot of creative differences, and it's just me just battling people, and there's so much you can battle. Do you get what I mean? When it's like you're trying to say, yo, we should do it like this because I feel like this is the best way, and they're like, no. I've got so much years in this industry, I know what I'm doing. And it's like, bro, like that's before, this is now. Like I'm seeing what's happening, and if you go over to that day, I guarantee you this will take us to the next heights. And it's like, no, listen to it. And after, you know, the creative differences now turn into, do you get what I mean? A rap battle. And I'm like, listen, do you know what? I can't do this no more. I'll back off. So I feel like, I hate to say this, but if there's like stuff like that, because I'm still learning, I'm still young, like I'm just saying, you know, what I've gone through so far. If I've got any like sort of challenges or creative differences like that, I just say, you know, I can't do this, man, because it's not good for your mental. Like you will start having negative evil eye for people for no reason, and yeah, just step off, man. Probably is it same? It was different.
Different. I manage it different. Yeah. I don't come up against people like that really. I'm the experienced one. I know what I'm doing, so I do it their way, and then I do it my way, and I don't like. There's no like if someone comes to me like I want to do it like this. I've found in my experience there is no point saying that your way is better because that person's made their decision. So when you come up against someone like that, you're saving time because you know you've still got to shoot it the way you need to shoot it. So you might as well just be like, yeah, cool, let's do that. And then you do it, and then you just chuck your way in at the end. And then at the end, when the edit's done, they use the one that works best. I don't know what that is at the time, but it's options, you know, like there's no need to sort of, because everyone's right. That's the problem with it. There's no right or wrong way. And if you go down that road at the talking point of like having to be right, you're both basically both parties are doing themselves a disservice because you're just slowing down the whole thing. So I try not to get involved in those kind of things. And essentially, like as well, because for me it's different because we've got a big team, so time is money. And like, you know, people, the minute you start having kickoffs, all the producers are seeing is OT bills. Like they're looking around, they're like, there's 5 people there, there's 2 gaffers there. There's like that's what they're seeing. So you don't want to be the cause of the producer looking at you like that. They're putting bills to your time. Then it's like, So you got to kind of oil the wheels of the production. That's what I call it. But
Well, I think, I don't know, I feel like this spills over into sort of what you were saying about your own mental health and well-being. And then I guess like constantly working on yourself so that you're able to be present. And you know, at first you're accountable for your own actions and your own input, and then I guess if everybody could just sort of if everybody could just be responsible for actually, you know, working on their own selves, then I guess it would be easier to work.
Well, the thing is, what you do find on the shoots is like, you know, I mean, I think there's some people, like you say, who come to set, they want to have a row. That's how they express their creativity. That's how they work best. They like that friction. Like I've been on sets where the director from an agency comes, they're like got their set mind and they think it's all right to talk to people in a certain way.
That's what people's enabled. I feel like stuff like that's because people's enabled them for like years.
Yeah, exactly.
They can just turn up to any set and say, "You get me a coffee, you do this," and I'm like, you don't have. The industry doesn't have to be like disgusting. It doesn't have to be rude. It doesn't have to be nasty. It can be nice. All of us can make money happily and make creative, like nice films. Do you know what I mean? Without people saying, "You get it, you don't have to do that," unless it's needed. You know what I mean?
Well, the thing is, there's 2 different things. You don't have to have a row about a creative difference. That's one thing. But if someone's rude to you, then you clearly got to be like, "Do not speak to me like that. I am an employee here, same as you. Like you may be higher up the food chain or lower down the food chain, but all it takes is like when you call someone out about them being totally rude to you, they will quickly not be rude to you
Yeah.
because you basically put them on the back foot. You're like, listen, don't speak to me like that. My mum doesn't even speak to me like that. Like, so you know, you've got to bring it into a context where you're both humans, I think.
Okay, I think we've got a question from Rojal. I feel like I'm saying your name wrong again. Rojal. What inspires the visuals? Do you try to represent the culture around you?
I don't know. For me, I do like little things where, if I can, I will always have a more, like, if I've got any say in anything, then I will have maybe more of a leaning into kind of a sort of more mixed actors, more like mixed locations, things which will be just more real. Like, obviously, because I'm a cinematographer first and foremost, like, really, I try and make things look as real as possible without them looking fake. So it's not really about overlighting things or underlighting things or any of that. It's more of a case of like telling a story in a set where it could be believable. And then that leads on to actually having my culture involved in it. Most of the time, if I'm shooting something, it's usually set in London, it's set in, you know, like the city, and I was born in the city, so of course I have an understanding of what that feels or looks like, so that's what I'm going to bring to the production. If you mean like if I bring something overtly, essentially like black, then I just the presence of me shooting it kind of is giving it that gravitas already.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need to do it because I'm going to film it in a way that's going to be relevant to how I was brought up or the things I've seen, you know? So like if I go and film on an estate where predominantly most of the people on the estate are black, I will probably film that more sympathetically than someone who's never lived on an estate. Do you see what I mean? They'll go to the estate and then they'll be like filming all the burnt out houses and all the, you know what I mean? Whereas I might take a more community vibe. I might have like the mum and the kids on the steps playing football. You see what I mean? And like, it's just your understanding of things that actually make your view. So you don't have to be overt. You just have to be honest, true to you. Right? So so that's how I would do it.
So what was the question?
So the question was, what inspires the visuals, and do you try to represent the culture around you?
What inspires the visuals? I think art, like a lot of art that I kind of see. I like sometimes, like, I find myself just watching surrealist films. I feel like a lot of surrealist films about surrealism just show like bare random stuff, and I like seeing random stuff that kind of like, you know, inspire me. And that also stems down to the dreams that I have as well. If I have a dream, if I see something in a dream, I'll try and replicate it or try and make it as, you know, come on screen and stuff. And another thing as well, also the story. For example, if we're filming a video, if we're filming something in like my old area, custom house or something, I'll try and replicate custom house to the best of the ability. I wouldn't try and like have people in ski mask and like holding knives and machetes and stuff, because that's not the custom house I grew up on. Like, I'll show them nice parks, you know, the whole the gentrification that's happening now, like just telling the story about that really, and just showing the nice communal vibes and stuff. So yeah, it's basically that.
Okay, so I guess both Lloyd and Ian do try to best represent the culture around them when creating their visuals. So we've got another question. Recently, the film and TV charity published a report about mental health in the film and TV industry, which found that over 87% of creatives suffered with mental health related issues. Do you think enough is being done to help creatives in these positions? And have you come across any of these issues with your colleagues?
Can I stop you there? What 80%? Like, is that just not? Is it the black 80% black people, or is it like? Is that everyone? But that's different, because if you're like, most of the people I know who work in creative industries who've got mental health issues are worrying that they can't move out of their townhouse in Hampstead that their mum and dad own. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't really.
I can't relate to that.
I can't relate to that. So that's because that's a film and TV charity. So that's across the board. Like, there's two. When you're talking about those sort of things, there's different types of well-being problems. Like, I say, you know what Lloyd was saying before about if you're a young creative who has no money, but you're still trying to be creative, your pressures are like, they're not about not working. The reason you're worried about not working is because you can't pay your rent. Like, you know, it's, I don't know, man. I think that a lot of us have sort of issues, like in terms of, one, for me personally, I don't have a fallback plan. This is my life. This is my main job. Like, when if I'm not doing this, I don't have a mum or dad to like pick up the pieces for me and, you know, do something for me. And I think those sort of statistics are just not helpful, because like, I think you'll find a majority of people who, like, a lot of people have problems, and like, in terms of cash flow, it's a hard job, you're freelance. So you've got one person who owes you loads of money, they don't pay you because they don't feel they have to. And then as a freelancer, like, where are you in the pecking order of freelance? Like that hurts your self-esteem, because you might know someone else who does exactly the same job as you, but they've been paid by that company. So you're thinking, why am I not getting paid, but this person's getting paid? Or, you know, it's like the whole system of the way this whole freelance and setup is now, and there's no staff jobs. It's set up that if you are weaker or in a situation where you cannot rely on yourself or have like a fallback plan, you will suffer from mental health issues. It's as simple as that. And I think that if you are essentially black or from an ethnic background and you're working in this industry, you're going to be more prone to that, simply because you've never had the fallback plan to start off to begin with. When you got into this, you got into it because of your love of the job, not because it was an easy win, because you couldn't do maths and mummy and daddy were like, oh, it's all right, you can go, we've got a friend who's got a TV company.
Yeah, exactly.
You see what I mean? So I think, not to rant on about it, but I think like maybe we need to talk more about like not just film and TV, but like society, and how like the whole jobs market needs to be kind of a bit more leveled, in terms of like, all of us there should be staff jobs available in our industry to the people that need them. I think, and I think we need more of a safety net for everyone. And then if we're talking about, you know, this whole, I think indie production companies need to be held more accountable for people's health and well-being, in terms of like how, regardless across the board, how people are throwaway. Like, all productions treat crew members especially, and producers and things, as throwaway. You know, it's like, when you're hot on a job, like, they're like, oh yeah, we really need you, and then they phone you every week and they keep giving you work, and then one day the phone just stops ringing, and you don't know, like, oh, was that because I once said I didn't like cornflakes instead of Rice Krispies? You know what I mean? It's like, and there's no feedback. When you do a good job, no one phones you up and says, oh, that's a mate. Very rarely will, like, someone, like, you'll have a rap party and a few people might say, oh yeah, really good, cool, but no one will be like, there's no honest feedback. No, like, oh, actually, this could have been better, and we would have preferred it if we'd have done it like this. So you never know. So sorry, I rambled there. I probably wasn't very helpful, but yeah.
No, very helpful. Lloyd, do you have anything to add on that? So do you think that enough is being done to help creatives in these positions, and have you come across any of these issues with your colleagues? Centered around mental health.
I feel like majority of industry is based on nepotism as well. Like, if you know someone, or like you said, if your dad knows someone that works in Sky News, or knows Rupert Murdoch, or knows, you know, the person I'm saying, you're gonna definitely get a job. And not to say I would, like, not this weird we saying this, but not to say I want to change it, because I'm sure if I was in the same position, and my brothers, well, no, I'll probably bring them as, like, you know, something like that. But I feel like, in that sense, I feel like a lot of companies probably do need to start looking out and start getting like a bigger talent pool, where they're saying, you know, who's hot in London at the moment, who's upcoming, who's this, who's that. The next underground, not going to the guys, not going to someone, investors, son, and saying, oh, you take sick pictures, you bring them, we'll give you an Ari, we'll give you anamorphics, and yeah, we'll make you like one of the biggest directors. I feel like it needs to be done the other way. I feel like a lot of people need to be given a chance, and I think that helps people's mental health in a sense.
I mean, that's the whole problem with agency, though, isn't it? That's like, you know, in my industry, it's always like most of the big pitches or the big jobs briefs go to agency, and then they just use the same other agency that supplies this agency, and it's hand to mouth. Like, yeah, you're not gonna, like, and then maybe the client will be like, once in a blue moon, the client might say, oh yeah, I saw this guy, he was like underground, really cool, bring him in, and like, and then that person gets brought in once, and then it goes back to normal. You know, every time. So I think like the system's a bit skewed in terms of the fact that the opportunities, the opportunities that are there are set up for a small group of people who are in that loop, and that's why people have mental health issues, because everyone else, the other 80%, are on the outside looking in. You know, so they, Well, I mean, I want to know about this 20% who don't have mental health issues. Who are they?
That's 23%. There's something that you said actually that reminded me, because my cousin, he is a cameraman, and he works at a production company. And I think he came in as a runner, and then just through building different relationships, he's just managed to land different roles. But then there was one time where they were recruiting and they needed a mixed race person, and he's mixed race, and then they were just like, Daniel, like it was like they were having this whole conversation, and they were just like, Daniel, and he was just like, and then just like that, he got the job. Like they just put him in this position.
Well,
his money just went up, and it was like, oh.
I've actually got a story about that, because I recently filmed a big campaign for like an American UK brand crossover. I don't know the name of the names because that would be unprofessional. But the point being, the production came over and they were like, "Oh, Ian, we want to use you. You're the right man for this job. You know about sports. You know about like what we want. You know about urban lifestyle." I was like, whoa. I hate that. I was like, what do you mean urban lifestyle? You know, well, we want to get like, those young black kids. Like, I was like, well, one, I'm mixed race, so like, I kind of understand. You know, like, okay, I know that. And then, but they were like, but we want it to be really London. I was like, well, London's made up of more than just like Caribbeans or Africans. And they were like, oh, really? And then it turned into this whole thing. And then I had like forced them to have to like bring on to the shoot. We had to like have a more diverse cast essentially, because in their heads, urban meant black. That's what it meant. But I was like, well, hold on, that's not what you're saying. On one hand, you're talking about London. You're saying you want it to be London. Yeah. And I think there's like a thing in terms of that, in terms of like sort of how I perceive myself and how I'm seen are two different things. And what these big companies and big clients, because they don't understand it, and they're probably not educated in how to like write the brief correctly, but it's just weird that pushback you get in that meeting where you're kind of like, no, that's not what this is. Like you're trying to make an ad for a brand that is reaching out to more than just urban youth. Yeah, exactly. So and I think you get that in the workplace all the way across. Like people don't understand. And that's the thing, we were talking about voices and things earlier, where that's the whole reason you have to hide your voice. Because the minute you start, if I start going on talking about jollof rice and all this sort of stuff, they're going to be like mind blown. And then they're going to look at me differently. Do you see what I mean? Which is not, I like that, talking about your culture in my industry is not perceived as professional. Do you see what I mean? Like it's a cross-boundary thing, and that has to change. But I think don't get me wrong, I think that has changed massively. But I think that's something also we have to be careful of, that we don't sort of like embrace these kind of stereotypes too readily.
Also, I know stereotypes as well. I also want to mention just quietly that I feel like a lot of production companies or agencies need to realize that not every black person has the same upbringing. Some black kids are from good homes, like as in you go there, house smelling of cotton, linen, like mum speaking like the Queen's English, you know what I mean? And you go to other homes and it's like it's completely different, you know what I mean? And a lot of people need to understand, or agencies understand that there's this amount of black people and there's this type of black people, and not everyone's living the same upbringing.
We've all walked different.
Well, everyone's different. Everyone's different. That's the thing. I think we need to embrace more, like, as well. It's not even just
even go down to even white people as well. Not every white person has the same upbringing. I've lived with white people, but like my old area in Custom House where their parents are on like proper West Ham fans, and if you say something wrong, do you know what I mean? They're gonna punch you up or do something, and it's like you got other white people that live in other areas when they're like proper like prompt and proper like Essex guys, you got what I mean? And they're speaking like all of that sort of stuff, and people need to realise that, innit? Not if they can differentiate that, I'm sure they can differentiate black people.
That's exactly.
That is exactly it.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thank you. I'm getting prompted because we are running over, but I was enjoying the discussion so much.
If anyone's got any good jollof recipes, hit me up. Everyone knows Nigerian jolloff's the best, though. You Ghanaians just. What
is it?
I've said it. It's out. I've said it.
Trust me, fam. Sorry, bro.
Right, well, rice and peas. Any space for rice and peas? Anyway,
Let's
all
hope this
right.
place on the side
If it's
thing.
healthy eaters recipes, I'm good enough. But anywhere else.
All right,
Nigerians
guys,
go along.
where can we find you? Where can we find you? Where can the young people find you?
Oh, what my socials?
Socials,
So
websites.
I'm on Instagram at Ian Mann Film Stuff. I've got my own website www.ianmanndop.com, and yeah, I mean, generally just I'm around. So, and then sometimes you'll see me appear on TV. So yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you. And Lloyd.
I've got 3 Instagrams that I kind of control now. So follow Foolish Professionals first. So it's Foolish Professionals as you see it and as you hear it is how it spells. Then follow my other 2 personal pages. So Anarfi, so ANARFI. That's just like my fun page. I put my content, creative content, and film stuff on there. Then follow my actual film page, which is Anarfi FP. So,
Okay, so that's Ian Mann and Llyod Anarfi. Thank you both for your time.
Thanks for having us.
Really good conversation. I hope you guys enjoyed. And then that wraps today's session for the Creative Clinic. This was the Cinematography Masterclass. I've been your host, Shay. It's been nice having you all. And yeah, we'll see you again next week. Right, we're back on the 4th of January. So we will not see
After
you.
Christmas. Yeah. Have a good Christmas.
Yeah. Don't turn up next week. Yeah. Have a great Christmas, but the 4th of January, please do turn up. Thanks. Thank you guys again.